Hello YouTube friends, welcome to The Last Homely House. I'm Kate and today we're going to carry on with the quilt that I'm making with my friends Jan and Jayne. In the last video in this series you saw them designing it on my design board, and today we're going to be sewing it together in that fabulous webbing way that I like to do with blocks. It's called the Terry block because Terry Rowland is the first person I saw doing this, and she's got some fantastic videos on her channel about making this colour wash quilt. And so that's what we're going to do today. I hope you enjoy this video. Here it comes. So the girls are back now.
Fine.
And we've got the green light on the design. I can't interrupt them because they're counting. Let me tell you what they're doing just now. There's a lovely little bit of, I couldn't quite work out what Jayne was doing, where she was lining all the squares up in both directions. It did look like some very lovely fabric tai chi. I really enjoyed it. And so what they're doing now then is they've numbered all the rows 1 to 28, and they're taking off the squares really diligently and counting, so I can't actually interrupt them. So they're taking off the squares and making sure they're counting to 30, because that's how many there are going down. And because there's so many squares, the tendency for the
30.
30. So row number 3's got 30. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Now on row 4.
Row number 4, and there are only 28 rows.
Yeah.
It's all good. So what they're doing, they're bundling them up like that, putting them over there next to the sewing machine, and then I'm going to start webbing them. And I think I actually might start doing that right now, so that we can see how we're doing. But I'll let you look at the girls for a minute. They're doing a wonderful job of keeping everything in order. And so you've definitely got the number on the... Oh, she knows what she's doing. I thought she was doing it wrong there. I'll just go and make this cup of tea I promised them. Okay, so I'm sitting at the machine while they're taking all the pieces off, and I've got row 1 and row 2, and I'm going to begin webbing these together now. Now I've obviously got to sew 2 to 1, not 1 to 2, and that actually is important on the first row, because if I sewed it that way round they'd be in the wrong order, and they've gone to a lot of trouble to make sure that these pieces are in the right order. So I just need to put the 2 piles next to me in order, 1 and 2. And then, as I was explaining to them and you earlier, we need to make sure that the seams, so if that's one long piece there, and this is where the edges come, those two go together. So I'm going to make a start. We started sewing this together. This is a little bit momentous, isn't it? Okay, and we're off. So the way I do this, I've explained this many times before. I sew these two together like that, and then I don't cut the string between. So this is, I'm string piecing these together, and then I pick up the next two, and just that they've beautifully designed, and I just pop those there. You can come and watch if you like and see what I'm doing.
So the first and second row must be the most difficult because you have to concentrate and think which one's 1 and which one's 2.
No, because I know that that's 1.
Okay.
And this is 2. It hasn't got numbers on now, but I know that it is.
Okay.
And the thing about it as well, I remember when Rita was here making one of these, and she said, what if I get it the wrong way round, flip it the wrong way round? You can't. You absolutely can't flip it the wrong way round. Try. If you're webbing and you're worried that you might get these two the wrong way around, you can't do it. Just try. Now, the only thing that you have to be really careful of is running out of bobbin thread, because you can be merrily stitching away, but you know what it's like when you're stitching fresh air. Well, that's the last thing you want to be doing, is stitching fresh air. So I check every couple of blocks that I'm still sewing fabric. I've still got thread in my bobbin. And then what I'm doing as well is just checking that the side with 3 pieces on and the side with 1 piece on, they're coming next to each other. It could not be simpler. And it's a lovely process. I really enjoy this process. It's just so sometimes hard to see the seam. It's so satisfying. You get a quilt top actually really quite quickly, as long as you don't run out of bobbin thread. Because if you do run out of bobbin thread and you find that you've got a pile of unconnected squares on the floor, then all your lovely hard work of designing, which is what the girls are taking off the board now, is all to no avail. This is exciting.
It is.
Okay, I'm just going to keep going and I'll show you what I do when I get to the end of a run. Can you see what I'm doing okay there? I think you can.
Can they see the beautiful light behind you?
Beautiful light. Well, let's show them the beautiful light behind me, because today I usually battle a lot with the light coming through this window when it's really sunny, but what Jan's just been pointing out is that actually we've got golden hour at the moment, and so the trees and the birds, the trees are particularly beautiful with the golden light shining on them. And what happens is, because what are we now, 3:10, and we know we're coming up to the shortest part of the year, what am I talking about? The shortest day of the year. We're coming up to that soon, which means that it's very, you think, it's dark really early, but this light that you can see behind me, this golden light, it'll go off like a switch as soon as the sun goes behind down the horizon. It'll get switched off like a light switch going out. So we'll enjoy our daylight while we have it, lining these up well, checking that I've got bobbin thread. Okay. They're doing well over there. What row are you on?
About to do row 9.
Row 9
row 8
of 28.
But we'll only go to row 12.
So just to remind people, how big is this finished quilt going to be?
King size.
King size.
It's a king size.
So it's 84 inches by 90 inches. 28 squares by 30.
Okay. I'm just going to run
it's
this.
just snaking into the most beautiful circle.
Do
Does
you
it
want to-
always do that?
Yes, it does, doesn't it? Look at that. That's what Jayne's seeing there on the floor.
That's our quilt done.
So let me just line you back up again, and I'll show you what I'm going to do now.
Sorry, cover that.
There we go. I'm going to run this off onto a thread bunny now, and then I'll haul this all back in again like so much bunting, like that, till we get back to the numbered ones at the top. And then when I open this out, I've got 1 and 2, and now I'm going to take, I'll just put this on my knee actually so it doesn't pull. I'm going to take the number 3 pile here and sew that onto number 2. It really is the simplest way to keep a busy quilt with so many pieces in order. It's the simplest way. Now, we'll get this one. That one goes like so. Okay. And then as I keep the webbing together, let's get my thread bunny back. And I open this one out, and this is 2 here. And there we go. This is a little tip that Terry gives you when you're joining these blocks. This is the long side here, and this is where the 3 short ends are. And just make sure that you sew those together. So when you flip this one open, and we look now, and I'm going to sew that to that. It's quite easy to flip the blocks the direction you want them. And so you don't have to design it that way on the design board. You can just flip them when they're in their piles here. Every single block I'm doing, I'm checking the bobbin thread, because around about now I should be needing to change it. So once the quilt was all sewn together in one direction, I went and hung it on the treehouse in this beautiful winter sunlight, and I really enjoyed watching it just wafting in the breeze. I think it looks so lovely. I even took some film of the back of it as well, where you can see all the seams looking like stained glass. I found the time today to get back to sewing this quilt together. I'm going in the opposite direction now. I've done all one way in the webbing, and now I'm doing the other way, and it's quite a beast of a thing, and there are a lot of little intersections to catch in the seams, and I'm not enjoying this as much as I thought I would be. I'm going to be very, very pleased when this one's finished, because I think it's quite possibly the biggest quilt. Maybe not the biggest quilt, because I made one or two pretty epic quilts, but I think the most complicated quilt I've ever made. And the little ends that are coming together, because it's been a couple of weeks since I sewed the first lot of webbing, some of them are coming a little bit unravelled, so I'm having to check every single junction and do a strengthening stitch if they're a little bit unravelled. I haven't discovered any really bad places yet, but it seems like I have to kind of almost remake some of the seams, like there, look, for instance. It's fine though, as long as I'm careful. So it's not a mind out of gear project, this one. I'm having to be really quite mindful. I finished the last run of the webbing, and now I'm going to just sew all the way around the outside to trap all those little seams. This was a trick that Kath, the Cumbrian long arm quilter, told me about years ago, when I took a quilt to her, and I didn't know about this. She calls it the lap of honour, or the victory lap. When you've finished a quilt and you sew all the way around the edge, especially one like this one, which has got so many little seams coming to the edge, open seams. Once I've done this, every single bit of this quilt will be enclosed in stitching. And the cat's just walking across to give her approval. Completed. So here then is the stitched together quilt in all its glory. It needs a good press, and then, not today possibly because it's a little bit grey and overcast and a little bit rainy, I'll pop it back on the treehouse and let you see what it looks like when both sides are sewn up. But I am very pleased to be at this end of this quilt now. Next thing then is to good press and then lay out the quilt sandwich, and we've got the fabric for the backing. It's this beautiful pink. You'll see that a little bit more when we're pinning it out and laying out the quilt wadding and pinning this quilt out. For now though, I'm just going to fold it up and put it away until I can face pressing it all. So I brought the finished quilt top to Jan and Jayne's, and for one good reason. It's finished now, the top, and so it needs a really good press. And it's been sitting in my workroom for a week now, and I keep looking at it and thinking, I really don't want to iron that. But Jayne really likes ironing. So we're using a little bit of best press, a little bit of spray starch. I think it'll just make everything. I don't know. What do you think about it? Using spray starch?
Yeah, I think it feels.
I do.
It feels. I don't normally use spray starch.
No, but it feels about right to me.
And I'm trying to burn Kate's fingers.
Yeah, she's going to get me one of these times. Last little bit of ironing, and I think what we might do now is just hold it up,
okay,
so that you can have a look at it.
There we go.
Let's see if we can somehow or other hold this up.
Oh, it looks so much better now it's been
Yeah,
ironed.
it really does. It looks like a different thing altogether, doesn't it? I'm not quite sure how we're going to manage to do this, but there it is.
There it is.
There it is.
Yay!
Well done. That's a good pressing. It looks so much better.
Yeah.
Right, find those pins for me, and I'll sit and sew those. Thank
There's
you.
one.
I'll sit
the other.
I'll sit and sew those up then. Thank you.
Okay.